So I'll just do a quick welcome. I'll turn it over to you, and then you turn it back over to me, or whenever you're done, I'll just jump right in. Yep. Then I'll turn it over to Kim.
Just make sure you stand where they can see you.
I wander around.
I know. It's going to be hard. Clear heads too.
I'm super loud, so I'm obnoxious, so I'm start recording on this.
The mic's not on.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually speak for both Carrie and I. We are both super excited to have you here today, to see your wonderful faces, to be a part of this. I know we haven't had the opportunity to meet together in person for over a year and a half now. We've learned there's other ways of doing things, but some things you just can't replace. So thank you for being here. Very humbled by this experience to be here and to learn from each of you. I hope you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday filled with lots of good food and hopefully good company. So today, again, welcome. Thank you for being here in this live session. We do got a lot of stuff going on this morning. I have arranged Nita's bringing in some pastries and desserts and some other things later this morning, which I'll have set up over here. We've got some tables set up, so you're welcome to afterwards to stay and visit for a little bit afterwards, as if you want to do that. Couple quick things or requests. Please make sure that you've silenced your phones. I understand that you're all supervisors, you're all very important, and have things that come up. If you do need to take a phone call, please step down the hall or step outside to take that phone call. Like I said, I will disappear a little bit just to get the food over here, so please excuse me as I leave here in about an hour. But other than that, I'm going to quickly turn the time over to Carrie for just a few minutes.
If you guys are on virtually, can you give me a thumbs up or let me know if you guys can hear us fine? We want to make sure that you guys can hear okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, I just have a couple things today, and this is what's really funny about Jason and I. He's more than a foot taller than I am. I did not wear my heels today. So. Thank you. Okay, so does this help? Can you guys hear that? Okay. Just a couple housekeeping items. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. is the last time to bring in your vaccination card to get the full incentive for next year. So you have until 5 o'clock tomorrow night to get your vaccine card over to us. If you've forgotten or just or just have been lazy to not bring it over, or if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, it's not too late to get the J&J today, so I'm just gonna put that out there. We have almost 70% of our full-time employees vaccinated, so we're really happy with the turnout so far for that. We are also going to do another live leadership and management training in January, so thank you for coming to this one. In January, we will have Noelle Pace come in, and she's going to give us an inspirational presentation, so we're excited about that. We will be combining with the Build a Better Forum, so it will be the supervisor training and Build a Better Forum, so make sure that you attend that. Finally, we have books for you as a gift from Jason and I for next year. It's called Atomic Habits. Make sure you pick one up over here on your way out. We will be doing a 3-part series on this book starting in July. So July, August, and September. Bryce Merrill will be the conductor of those meetings. Bryce, why don't you stand up? I don't know if a lot of these people have met you in person yet. This is Bryce Merrill, our new creation director. It's the first in-person meeting, so a lot of people probably haven't had a chance to meet you, but he's the one who recommended this book to us. We're excited to read it with you all. So you have over 6 months to read it. So take your time, highlight it, and we'll start reviewing it in July. And with that, Jason.
Okay. And I also wanted to express gratitude for the library and for their help, the team over here that put this all together. Obviously, we wanted to be inside, but because of some construction conflict, that we do what we can with what we got. So this actually works really well. It's nice to have the tree out here, and this is just a great space to be able to do this. So thank you, library staff, for helping us out with this one. First thing I'd like to do, first off, this is very difficult for me to stand in one place and not move. My brain doesn't work to its full potential unless I'm actually moving around. So if I stutter or get lost or whatever, it's because I'm standing behind this thing. However, because this is our first in-person little training that we've had in a while, what I'd like for all of you to do is to, in the next 3 minutes, I want you to introduce yourself to someone you don't know, okay? Stand up, put your stuff in your chair so no one steals your seat, but I want you to go around and meet 3 people that you have never met before.
I know myself, that's why
Which is good. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yes. That's right, that's right. Okay. I feel like I see all the time email, but
Okay. All right, let's find our way back to our seats. Please.
Don't be afraid to pull it out the steps.
Okay. This won't be on camera. Okay. Yes. Okay, I got a question. By show of hands, how many of you are familiar with the term network? By show of hands, okay. Who's brave enough to define that for us? What does networking mean? Well, push the pause button on Steve. Anyone else like to define what the term networking is? Anybody? Back here.
Using resources to develop
Okay. Okay. Make our life easier. Okay. By definition, networking is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional and social contacts. So what is the benefit of networking? Isn't that what we just kind of did just for, see, I'm already moving, that we just did for a few minutes? What is the benefits? Now networking, when I think of networking, I automatically go to my risk management conferences, you know, on the East Coast where we all have one thing in common, okay? But let's talk about something a little bit different, similar but different. Networking internally within the walls of an organization, okay? What would the benefits be to networking within an organization? What are your thoughts? Yes, Gina.
Knowing what people's strengths are that can maybe help you as a whole.
Okay.
For me, in the seniors, you know, I'm always, as I'm trying to get to networking with my seniors themselves and finding out what their strengths are, I can maybe develop classes that they can teach or classes that they would be interested in.
Okay. So knowledge, skill set, what else? What other benefits do we find from networking internally?
Also, you can find out who makes really good banana bread.
Amen. Find out who makes really good banana bread. Nate.
I think with each department in the city, we kind of see a lot of different segments working perhaps. So we can often share the resources that we have in each department.
Okay.
You know, throughout the different areas and each different community communicate what we have to offer.
Okay, share resources with community members. What about from an employee standpoint? What do we benefit from networking with other employees?
I know for me, over the last year, even just like coming to these meetings and meeting different people in the city, I've been able to do some pretty cool things in dispatch. I've worked with people over in the city to help me do a lot of things, like even like coming up with a dispatch specific logo instead of just having this logo associated with this. So just meeting people who can help you accomplish what you want.
Okay,
I
Kathy, thank you.
think it prevents groupthink because you get all these great perspectives from different departments. You know, from our own department, we have a unique perspective. And then I think the idea of reciprocity comes into play because we can help others. And then in future times, if we are forming a committee or we have a big project to do, I've noticed that then people are really willing. They're like, hey, I have an idea that I can help you. So it creates just even a more enriched, amazing project because of all these different perspectives.
Perfect, thank you. We'll see.
Usually, while we're dealing with many of the same variables, many of them are different as well. My point here is that usually the problem has been attacked and solved in one area of the way that we do business, We don't have to reinvent the wheel in a different, we can usually use that same solution.
Okay, you know, and with internal networking, it often begins with a single point of common ground. Okay, now I know that makes sense. When I go back east to these risk management conferences, I'm in a room with 80 other very paranoid risk managers from across the country. Okay, we all have that commonality. Here, however, okay, we have 9 different departments. Okay, where is a point of commonality? Okay, where is a point of common ground with us here at Orem City? What do we in this room have in common?
Serve Orem City.
We serve Orem City. We are all employees of Orem City. Hoorah, right? Jamie? We all serve the same customers. Okay. What else?
I think we're here to better the community, you know, as staff of Orem City, we're trying to make Orem a better place to be. And that's what we share.
Okay, perfect. One of the other things that we share, have in common, everyone in this room is a supervisor. Okay? But if we're able to look past the generic definition of quote unquote a supervisor, past the day-to-day tasks, the drama that we deal with, the fires that we quench, both hypothetically and literally, thank you guys. What do you feel would be at the heart of being a supervisor to you personally? What do you hope for, I guess, in the long term as a supervisor? What was that? Keeping positive morale. Okay, what else? Gina?
Having a full, happy staff.
Full happy staff. Amen. What else?
I think one of the most important things as a supervisor is to watch our teams grow and learn and develop, and then do the best that they can.
Okay, development of your team. Kathy?
And to encourage and provide opportunities to help that happen, you know, to be continually sharing with those that we supervise, educational opportunities, you know, workshops, classes, courses, certifications that they can take advantage of, and really provide those in our budgets and, you know, allow them that opportunity to tap into really good knowledge.
Okay, what else?
And taking all these things and watching that translate to improving and bettering city services.
Okay, bettering city services. What else? Long term, what's the heart? Why do you do what you do as a supervisor? Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't fit exactly. I was just going to say also facilitating training and tools and resources.
Okay, what else? Steve?
I want us all to be proud of the work that we do, to produce a product that you can look back and say.
Okay. By show of, oh, Brent, please.
The real hope to finally be able to crack
Okay, we'll go back to French.
Can you repeat that? No, we really only heard crack, we heard
Crack the whip.
Crack the whip.
Crack
to finally.
crack the whip.
No, it's, I guess, for me to serve, to look beyond myself.
Okay. To serve and look beyond ourselves. By show of hands, how many of you share the same, if not similar, objectives as a supervisor? Show of hands. Let's see. Okay. So, I don't know about you, but as far as I can tell, we no longer have a room full of supervisors, but better, we have a room full of leaders. Okay. It's been said a leader is someone who can see how things can be improved and who rallies people to move towards that better vision. But to accomplish this effectively, everyone in this room, everyone who's watching online, we have to be unified in that vision and definition of leadership. And yes, I get this quite frequently. Yes, we do different things. We all do different things, and in many cases, we do extremely different things, but none of that will ever change the fact that you, that I, that all of us in this room are the current and future leaders of Orem City. Thinking about the diverse nature of a municipality, to me, anyways, that's what makes us unique, okay? That's what makes us powerful, and it also makes us very special. Again, when looking at my annual risk management conferences, we're all the same line of work, okay? So basically, we're a basket full of watermelon, okay? Here at Orem, with 9 different departments, we don't just have one basket full of watermelon. We literally have a fruit salad, okay? Full of skill, experience, knowledge, okay? But even though we do have a lot to offer in those areas, we do also share some things in common, okay? One of those things also is that we're human. We're people. We have feelings. We have emotions. We have fears. We have anxieties. We have successes, and we have failures. Just for example, and by show of hands, how many of you at any time throughout your time as a supervisor, have you felt that you're alone in your development? Or that you basically had to figure things out on your own, okay? Now, don't be offended by this question. If your hand's not up, then you're probably sitting next to your boss. But in reality, everybody's hand should be up, okay? But let you in on a little secret that I hope all of us can shout from the rooftops. You're not alone. We have you have us, and we have each other. Stephen R. Covey, he said, people who are truly effective have the humility and the reverence to recognize their own perceptual limitations and appreciate the rich resources available through interaction with the hearts and the minds of other human beings. So I invite all of you to step out of your department, step out of your division, step out of your sections, and cross those department boundaries, okay? Don't wait for the next leadership and management training to visit with other leaders. Take opportunities as they come. Build working relationships, lean on each other, counsel with each other, and learn from each other. But most importantly, if you get anything of what I've said in the last 10 minutes, remember that effectiveness is not about what you have, but rather who you have. And today we're lucky to have Kenna Mathews, okay? And I'm gonna embarrass her a little bit. But I've had the opportunity to work with Kenna and to get to know her better over the last few years. And I really admire her and her courage and her commitment to what she does. She has a true passion and a heart full of love for the community, for the employees, and we're lucky to have her. She's definitely one of our shining stars. And to top it off, Carrie and I didn't approach her on this and ask her to train on this today. This is something that she came to us on, okay? She's so passionate about this stuff. This is so important to her. She wanted to share it with each of us, and we're thankful for that. So I ask you, as I turn the time over to Kenna, that we give her our full attention, okay? And we give her everything that she deserves to have in this training. So without further ado, Kenna, I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Jason. That was nice. Don't expect us too much. So I get super nervous in front of crowds. So just if I seem nervous, I probably am nervous. But thank you. Well, Jason kind of talked about what you can do within the organization. I'm going to be kind of talking about what you can do outside the organization today to serve your fellow men and serving the community. I would like to thank Carrie and Jason for the opportunity to provide this leadership training. I was saying to some people this morning, I did this to myself because I did offer, but I think it's an important topic and I'd like to share this topic, so I'm excited to be here. But today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite topics: kindness, volunteering and service, and community resources. I'm also excited to collect books for our annual Read Early, Read Often holiday book drive. So if anyone brought books, there's some fun red things over here, you can put those in. And then thanks to all those who brought books today. I'd also like to thank my friends and my fellow presenters for joining me today. When I was thinking about this topic, I'm like, I can't do this all myself. Who do I know in the community? And I reached out and here they are. So appreciate them being there. Hopefully Melanie can find us here soon. She's lost somewhere, I think. I thought I would start today by telling you a little bit about my own community service story and discussing why I think service is important. Following my presentation, we will see a video presentation about kindness featuring Lori Thomas, the founder and chairperson of Orem Kindness. Thanks to Pete for putting the video together. It was very kind of you to do that. Following the video, we have Hillary Whitaker here from Community Action Services and Food Bank. She's the volunteer coordinator there, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her organization and the importance of volunteers to her organization. We then have Arden Hopkin from the Just Serve, from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Just Serve specialist. I've worked with Arden for a few years, and it's been great working with you, Arden. He's going to talk about Just Serve. Following Arden, I have links for all of this. Following Arden, we're going to be talking Melanie Heiner from United Way. She's a 211 specialist. We'll present about the United Way's 211 program. And the final presentation will be about our service project today. We have Stephanie Anderson and Emily Allison from the United Way Everyday Learners program, and then I will end. So that's kind of, any of us that have been through the MPA program at BYU, know that's OABC opening. So my own story of community service started when I was very young. I truly believe my mission in life is to make a difference to those in need. I feel it to my core. I have been blessed and I feel like I need to use those blessings to help others. I have always been drawn to those less fortunate and wanted to give back. I remember vividly as a 5-year-old when I saw my first homeless person in Salt Lake City. Said I wasn't going to cry, but I probably will. I cried in my young brain and heart, had a hard time grasping the idea that no one played, that they did not have a place to call home. My old brain and heart still does. I was also blessed with a wonderful mentor. Her name was Grandma Donna. My grandma was always helping someone. She managed a store in downtown Provo for about 40 years, which allowed her to see the needs not being met, and she tried to meet the needs as many as she could. She would invite people into her home for a meal and a good night's sleep. My mom said she never knew who was going to be there that night sleeping at her house. Provide clothing and employment opportunities for single mothers in need. My grandma taught me many things, and most importantly, she taught me to respect people no matter who they are, and she was an exceptional example of that. Her example has been a guiding light in my life. My parents have been a good example to me of helping others. Both my parents have always been helpful to those in our neighborhoods. And some of you have seen them at place picnics because they get told to do things oftentimes. And always taught us to be kind to others and say thank you. We were taught early on not to judge and to befriend all people. Community service has blessed my life significantly. Many people in this room are part of my life due to community service. I'm so grateful for their support, friendship, and example. My career opportunities have been a direct result of my service. My first nonprofit position in neighborhood housing services was offered to me over 20 years ago as a result of volunteering with our organization as I worked to improve my own neighborhood. My positions at the Food and Care Coalition and Habitat for Humanity came through my service with both organizations as well. My current position at the City of Orem, I was influenced, I believe, maybe, by my participation in the All Together Playground Project and my work at Habitat. My careers have also afforded many opportunities to serve through boards and committees.
Service in the community has also provided me with many life-changing experiences and opportunities that have been influenced my life for good. Most importantly, community service has made me a better person because of the wonderful people I have been blessed to serve. Every day I post a kind quote on my Facebook page. I've been doing it for about 5 years now, just to remind myself to be kind every day, because sometimes it's not easy in my job or here or anywhere else. But one of those quotes that I posted one time said, "As soon as you seek to inspire others, it inspires the best in you." I have truly been inspired through service. That's kind of my own story. So why is community service important? Service to the community is crucial to meeting the growing needs in our community and the world. There is not enough government or church services to help everyone. And often in this community, we feel like there is, and there's not. Without the service of many good-hearted individuals, our community and world would see much more suffering and decline. And a good example of this is the Bahamas. I traveled there several years ago. While on tour, one of the smaller areas, the tour guide pointed out the damage to many of the homes and properties that occurred during the hurricane in the early 2000s. 15 plus years later, nothing has been done to improve the homes and properties that have been affected by the storm. Without the service and generosity of others, the government has not been able to improve the situation in the area. Bill Holterstrom from United Way often talks about how the state of Utah is really good at this. In other communities it has been in during tragedies and disasters and things, they just don't clean up like Utah has with some of those tragedies. So I think we're blessed to be in a state and a city that's willing to give back and willing to do more within our community to make things better. Service has a lasting impact on the society at large. So does any of you guys have any experience seeing how service has kind of gone beyond what government and church service can do?
I was a resident in Elkridge when we had the Bull Creek fire a few years ago. I think it was the fall of 2018. And it was really amazing to see residents in the surrounding communities step up and help those who had to be evacuated. I was evacuated. I had family I could go to, but the Red Cross essentially said that the surrounding individuals kind of in the Utah County area put their job out of business in the Red Cross. They had set up like a overnight center in the high school, and it didn't need to be used because people were so kind. They offered their homes, their basements, rental apartments, rental homes to people who had to be evacuated during that time. I think it was a 3-week period. And it was just so heartwarming to see people care about, complete strangers in their community. And I think it set a really good example.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone online? Pardon. I think we recently just saw this. Pete and Jenica and I serve on the kindness committee for the city of Forum, and we did a refugee drive for about 6 weeks. And last Wednesday, we had the opportunity to take it up to the Refugee Connection up in Salt Lake, and you should have seen all the donations up there, just already there. And then we brought 8 carloads or truck full loads of donations to the Refugee Connection. They were very grateful, and they said they were going to use all of it. So it was great to see all of these things coming in. I know the library was kind of getting tired of our stacks and stacks of diapers and toilet paper, but it really does make a difference for these people coming from Afghanistan and other countries that don't have anything, and they have at least some of the things that they need because of the service of the community and some of you in this room. Community service is also an essential component to change. Gandhi once said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Service to the community is that change. When people respond to human need or needs, it makes the world better for not only for those in need, but the potential of changing generations of lives in a positive way. I saw this over and over again at my work at Habitat for Humanity. Parents and children change and want more for their lives, provided the opportunity for stability through safe and affordable home ownership. Have you guys ever seen any lives change through service that you've seen in your lives? or quiet lunch today? Yes. That's awesome. Sure, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, Orem has a long history of trying to involve service into city services. We've done day carry, we used to do a program called Blitz, where the neighborhood picks up cleanup, cleanup. And I think that best part about it is you get to see where your service impacts an individual household. You know, a senior couple was just so grateful because they have been able to take care of their yard the way that they always have prior to their decline, or someone who got a new air conditioner or a swamp cooler while miserable summer, and really got to see the personal impact of different things. We've had people just be absolutely grateful for someone in fire pushing their can back in, or taking their can out on a garbage day, or grabbing a mower, just finishing off the mowing, and we've seen the impact of those really personal experiences. Just they make them so good and want to double that if I should want.
Yeah, it's great when you can see just little things make such a big difference in people's lives. The Home Builders Association here does a program called Subcontractors for Santa every Christmas, where they go out and they do 4-hour projects with just small little teeny projects that probably all of us wouldn't realize are such a big deal. But I'm on that committee, and we were just at a committee meeting yesterday, and one of the guys that went out to evaluate one of the projects, the guy is a big burly guy, long beard, the guy that he went to talk to, he just broke down in tears because someone was willing to hook up his dishwasher that he hasn't been able to hook up. So I mean, it's just amazing the difference that can be made in people's lives and how they can change because of people's love and service. Service also breaks down barriers. Miller Fuller, the founder of Habitat for Humanity, often spoke about the theology of the hammer and how building homes together helps to level the playing field. Fuller said that when people work together for a common good, it often breaks down class distinctions, stereotypes, etc. I used to hear about building blacks and whites building together in South Africa and Protestants and Catholics building together in Ireland. I never thought something like that would happen in Provo, Utah. I was wrong. I had an opportunity to witness this theology in action. We were all eating lunch together one day at a Blitzville site, and I looked over and I saw one of the grandmas who had brought lunch from a local assisted living center chatting with an inmate from the state building crew. It was at that time I realized the real importance of the hammer. 5 years ago, sorry, this gets me every time. 5 years ago, I had another opportunity to watch the theology in action again. I was a volunteer coordinator for Orem's All Together Playground Build. Over the course of 7 days, I watched over 4,500 volunteers from all walks of life come together to build this 18,500 square foot playground, so all kids, including kids with disabilities, have a place to play. This was a very humbling experience for me, and now every time I go to or drive by the playground and watch kids playing, it reminds me of the good that happens when people come together for a common purpose. I've also seen this theology of the hammer here in the city of Orem. As Jason said, I watch daily as employees from differing backgrounds, departments come together to make the community better. Does anyone have any experiences where they've seen service breaking down barriers? Yes, Stephen.
Your work on the elderly, people from the community that had issues maybe with the city or neighbors that maybe didn't know each other. And watching relationships, watching them build for the common good, and suddenly whatever disagreements they had had in the past, things that they struggled with, suddenly weren't as important as greater causes.
Thank you. I also think we see this at our police picnics. We have police picnics where we bring in some of our community police officers, our code enforcement officers. And then we also bring in like our city leaders, and they come to some of our lower income neighborhoods where we offer a picnic. Leader Central offers hot dogs, and we just provide a hot dog meal, and we have these people coming together. And we witness some really great stories for neighbors that have not been able to meet each other now meet each other, even though they live next door to each other. It's kind of funny in this community. If you're not a member of the predominant faith, sometimes you may not know your neighbor. But this gives an opportunity to not only break that down, that barrier, but also breaks down the barrier, especially for our minority families who have a fear of police. We've watched them get involved and be able to talk to police, break that fear down. It's so fun to watch these little brown eyes walk up to these police officers and be so excited to have their stickers and everything, knowing that there was a fear there before and how we were able to break down that barrier through those police picnics. Service also brings a pay it forward attitude for the person receiving service. People that receive help are often motivated to give help. Those in need often want to give back because they have been helped. When I worked at the Food and Care Coalition, we decided to ask our clients to help us provide Christmas for a family in need in our community. It was humbling as my homeless clients would give up their last quarter or give up their smoke money to provide for a family. It always brought tears to my eyes. One of my favorite parts of the Habitat mission is that the family's mortgage payments are used to build homes for other families in need in the community. Val Hill used to call it, pay it forward housing. Recently, I was at one of the opportunities that I have is I work with Laura Bascom every quarter, and we're able to go do a fun cleanup at the Altogether playground because it is so well used, such a wonderful playground that oftentimes we have to do an additional cleanup just to keep on top of it. And so we'll have 75 to 100 people come out to these playground builds. And recently, one of my Habitat moms came with her family to clean up the playground. And I just thought that that was so cool that she was giving back after she has been given to, was able to come and give back as well. Any examples where you see it changing people's lives that want to give back? These are hard questions, I know. Jason.
Well, I just think in general, it's inspiring. Anything, and I'm stepping in my own shoes, when people serve me or I've been in need, and people, quite honestly, bend over backwards. For me, it's a natural feeling to want to go out and pay it forward, to someone else. At least it is that.
I think it's really important. It's amazing when you give to someone and they give. You hear about the stories where you'll be in the McDonald's drive-thru or whatever, and the person will pay for the person behind them, and it'll go on all day long. It just goes on and on and on and on because, there's a great attitude in that. I did that one time. I had never done that before, and it was so exciting. And the family actually stopped me because we were waiting for our food. We were Culver's, how long it takes sometimes. And they came over to me and told me thank you, and it was their anniversary that day. And it was just, I just thought, oh, this will be fun. Let's do this just once. I always wanted to do it, and they were able to actually thank me for what I had done. So that was kind of a fun thing. A couple of other things. Service is more than meeting someone's physical needs. Having physical needs met helps them to feel better about themselves as a person, and that in turn elevates their desire to improve their own lives and lives of their children and others. Additionally, oftentimes valuable friendships are built between those serving and those being served. I myself have had the opportunity to forge many great friendships with those in need in our community. It warms my heart when I receive a graduation or wedding announcement for Habitat families or am invited to important events someone has had that I've had the opportunity to serve. So have you guys ever had really valuable friendships from serving others? There's nods, that's good. Yes, Gina.
I used to run the family literacy centers in Springville for like 10 years. And still to this day, I will get wedding announcements or messages on Facebook from children that benefited from that program some 25 years ago.
That's amazing, because you made a difference, and they appreciate that difference. I appreciate it, Gina. Gina is an amazing person of giving back. What she does for the seniors in our community is amazing, and they love her because of her service, and I know she loves them, so thank you, Gina. Service is not just important to those receiving it, but it's also important to those that are giving. Baseball player Gordon Hinkle said, "One of the greatest ironies of life is this: he or she who serves almost always benefits more than he or she who is served." In addition to making individuals feel good, community service can help those serving develop an increased sense of social responsibility, build relationships, learn about social issues, improve communication, and find their passions that may lead to a career or change in service. Pete and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday. He made a comment that I thought was really good. He was saying that sometimes we'll get bogged down in what we're doing. I mean, I work with HUD. If anyone's ever worked with HUD, you know that you can get bogged down in what you're doing. Paperwork is boring to me. I want to be serving people. And so keeping my eye on the ball, knowing that this paperwork is going to help people in the community is very helpful. And that's kind of what Pete had said, that oftentimes knowing that it's the greater good. What we're doing is to better Quorum. It's not to do the paperwork, it's to better Quorum. And when we can keep our eye on that ball, it makes it better for all of us. I'm grateful for my experience I have had serving in the community. It's not always been easy, but I truly hope someday that my headstone will read, like my favorite quote from President John F. Kennedy, that she made a difference. So that is kind of my journey and why I think community service is important. Anyone have any comments or questions before I turn it over to some better speakers than I? Right, well, thank you. So I have my friends are here today, so I'm excited to have them. First of all, I asked Lori Thomas, she's our former Miss Quorum, and she also is the founder of Kindness Week and the Quorum Kindness. She was unable to be here, so her and Pete made a video. So I'm going to show you the video, and then we'll turn the time over to Hillary. Okay. We'll see if it works. We're having.
Hello everyone, my name is Glory Thomas. I am the founder and chair of Quorum's Kindness Week and Kindness Committee.
Can you
When I was 14, I was crowned Miss Quorum's at 17, which is a public servant figure in the community. And I was given the opportunity to have something that's called a platform. And I chose to promote kindness in the community. So I went to Mayor Richard Bruns as a 14-year-old at the time, presented my idea for Kindness Week, and he proclaimed it that year, and that was our first ever Kindness Week. The reason why I chose kindness is because I had experienced some bullying and exclusion at my school when I was in 8th grade, and it made me feel terrible. And I never want anyone to feel that way, because I know, because I went through that experience, I have a lot of empathy for people who have experiences like that. And I want others to be able to find power within themselves, know that they can be the one to make a difference in someone else's life by glowing with kindness and doing kind acts for other people. In order for them to be able to get outside of their comfort zone, I wanted to provide them with an opportunity to focus on kindness for an entire week. And that's where Kindness Week was born. And it's been going on for the past 6 years. We actually just had our 6th year a week ago, and it was really successful and just grows every single year. One of the most touching moments in my work throughout the years as the chair of Forum's Kindness Committee was during our month of May, where we give out scholarships to high school seniors. And this year we had them write a short essay about a kind act that had been done to them or a kind act that they had done for someone else. And when we got to the award ceremony and we're handing out awards, people were saying what they've done or what they've written about. And our third place winner from Mountain View actually wrote about the kind act that the first place winner had done for her. So that really promoted a feeling of connection and kindness throughout the room, because it just goes to show that you never know how much an act of kindness can impact someone else. And it was really cool to literally see that happening right in front of us. Okay, that was too much. As I've grown up, I've definitely noticed a decline in people focusing on the importance of kindness in our society. And I think that kindness is empathy in action, and empathy is where you listen to someone else's story. And once you know their story and the reason why they believe different things than you do, or wear their clothes a different way, whatever, you are able to listen, not just to respond, but to listen to understand. And then you can act accordingly. And most of the time, if you act with kindness and love and understanding and compassion, that's how we will make our communities become stronger and our nation to become kinder. I believe that kindness has three parts: knowledge, recognition, and action. And one thing that I love to do in order to gain more knowledge about kindness and how to implement it into my life is to do some research about how you can help in your community. And then once you've done the research, once you find the service project, I know that that's one of the missions of putting on a kindness week and holding kindness committee events, is to provide people with opportunities to practice kindness, because it's not just it's definitely a skill that needs to be learned, and skills definitely need to be practiced so that it becomes a lifestyle for you. So I would definitely research ways you can help in the community and then take action. And then once you're done, one thing that Kindness Week has really helped with is the recognition portion. We give out kindness awards to our businesses, neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, etc., to recognize people for the kindness that they've shown in the community. However, that is only a once-a-year thing. So what you can do in your home is recognize the kindness that people are showing to you by saying thank you. A heartfelt thank you can go a long way and can really help promote the importance of kindness in your homes, and because of that, that will promote kindness in the community. Kindness is not a problem to be solved, but a lifestyle to be embraced. Whenever you look around or in different social situations, please remember that everyone is a human being just like you, with a story to tell, a life to live, and a family to protect. And they deserve all the kindness in the world. So be sure to say thank you, wave to a stranger, smile, and don't ever forget that you can be the one to make the difference in your community when you glow with kindness. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete and Lori, for doing that. Now we're just going to, the rest of the presenters today will be giving you some practical ways that you can serve in your community, and also talk about how some community resources and how you can access community resources so you can help people in your community. So we'll turn the time over to Hillary from Community Action, and then we'll just go down the list from there. So we have Hillary, then Arden, then Melanie, and then our everyday learner people. So thank you.
A little nervous, but
Got this. Okay, so I work for and with Community Action as their volunteer coordinator. I got involved with Community Action in May of 2020. So right when COVID had hit, I was working for a car dealership. We closed down. I knew I wanted to do something different with my life that could make a difference. So I applied for this job and was hired, and it's been the best decision of my life. So Community Action Services and Food Bank is dedicated to fostering self-reliance in individuals, families, and communities. A big thing with community action is the word community. We all have to work together in order to achieve our common goal. There are a few things that I believe everybody deserves, and that's food, a safe and warm place to sleep, and just being able to be themselves. So a big thing with kindness is when we have volunteers come into the food bank, we always want to make sure that they're treating everybody with kindness. With COVID, we saw a lot of different types of clients that came in that had never experienced food insecurity ever. And so to make sure that, you know, everybody came in and felt like they were being treated exactly the same, we wanted to make sure that everybody understood how important treating people kind is. We have a lot of different opportunities for volunteers. You can come in and volunteer at the food bank. We have people who put together kits, hygiene kits. We give out food over the weekend, so they'll give little kid packs. That helps stop any food insecurity over the weekend. It has like an easy microwave meal, a fruit snack, some granola bars, stuff. So while parents are at work, these kids will have food to eat. And so having the community come together and put these kits together helps us remember that we all have a common goal, and that's to make sure that our kids have enough food to eat. There's been a couple big things that have just kind of reminded me how important the community is to work together. We recently started a mobile food pantry at Dixon Elementary School. And as we were there, there was a kid that walked up and just happened to ask the social worker if she was able to find him shoes. I looked down at his feet and saw that the shoes were completely open. I said, "Do you need help finding this child some shoes?" And she said, "Yes, that would be great." I made a post. Within an hour, I had people who were providing shoes. So we were able to give this individual 3 pairs of shoes so that he was not going to have to be walking around in the cold with his feet exposed. And so just those little things and coming together so that we can work and solve these issues is amazing. We get a lot of individuals from other countries that, you know, we might be their first stop as a resource when they come here. We sometimes will have families that come in from like Venezuela, other places that might not have access to a lot of food. We had this family come in. There's a family, probably about 5. They had maybe like a 4 and a 6-year-old. Bruce, our food bank supervisor, has this big beard, and he came over and I think handed each of them like a treat, and they just lit up and they just started saying, "Papa Noel, Papa Noel," as they see all the food, and they're like, "Is this all for us?" And I will tell you, every single volunteer that was there that day understood what they were there for. They felt that they made that difference to that family. That family had never seen that much food. Nobody had treated them with that kindness and just said, you know, here you are a human, and you know, this is what you deserve. You get food today. You get food all the time. It shouldn't be a matter of, you know, of anybody's struggle. Food is important. We also have different programs, because the goal with community action is to help also teach people how to find different ways to get out of poverty. Poverty is something that can be generational. A lot of times it's how you were raised. And so if you don't know how to pull out of it, it's hard to. So we have a couple different programs that's able to help. A big one is our Circles program. So that will have a Circles leader and an ally chart a course to move out of poverty. And so that is a volunteer opportunity that we encourage people in community health and everything to get involved with, because you might be able to help teach some important skills to people. We have multiple community gardens that are in the area as well that need volunteers too. And so that's a really fun program where for $20 you can rent the plot, and then working together, you're able to grow what you need. That will also help solve some food insecurity. Fresh produce is expensive. Growing a tomato plant, I don't know if you've ever grown a tomato plant, but you can produce a lot of tomatoes, so much that you can't get rid of them. And so to teach somebody that so that they're able to help pull themselves out is very important. My last thing that I wanted to talk about was just some statistics of what people say, how they feel with volunteering. So 96% of people say that volunteering enriches their sense of purpose in life. 95% of people say that they are helping to make their community a better place. And 94% of people who volunteered in the last month says that volunteering improves their mood. And as somebody who went from a switch from a car dealership to a food bank, and I will tell you that that is 100% true. Being able to give service will absolutely help your mood. It will help get you out into the community, get to know each other. Community connections are extremely important, so we can help pull everybody up and just be kind to everybody and continue to grow as people. And that's all.
Hello, my name is Arden Hopkin. My wife and I serve as the Just Serve representatives for the city of Orem.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Thomas.
My wife and I serve as the Just Serve representatives for the city of Orem and Vineyard. The Just Serve website was created by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a public service about 6 years ago. It began in Monterey, California, moved to Texas, and has swept over the United States as a gift from the church to the community in an effort to improve community coordination and service. I'm going to walk you through the website, but you'll be interested to know that within the state of Utah, there are currently about 165,000 people who are registered on the Just Serve website looking for opportunities to give service. There are an enormous number of individuals who, for one reason or another, have time on their hands or interest in their hearts to be able to serve others. And all they need to know is where to find it. There is another thing that will be of particular interest for you folks, and that is, as public employees of the city, sometimes there may exist a sense of us against them or them against us, because I suspect that many of you, when you deal with the public, do so as a result of complaints. And so there is a divide that says the people in the city want us to just do stuff for them, if only they understood. And the opportunity to create projects where people in the community can get involved in the areas where you have particular interest and allow them to see what's going on will cause them to have a greater empathy for what your work is and for what the work of the city is to create and maintain the community. I am going to step over here, and maybe you can help me with the microphone. I'm going to put it here next to the speaker. Okay, you can still hear me okay, yes? And the people online maybe can't, but they don't care. So the first thing that happens is that you go to a website, justserve.org. This is what the website looks like. And when somebody first goes in, I need to get out of, don't know my way around your mouse. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see is that this is Kenna's computer, and she has logged into JustServe. Each of you who would want to participate by using JustServe would need to do the same thing. And you would, instead of seeing Kenna's name there, you would say, sign up. And it takes less than 60 seconds to sign up. Then as you go down the page, you can see opportunities to find volunteer work in your area. This is where those individuals who are in the community are looking for something that they can do. The website is organized in such a way so that you can find local projects. You can even volunteer remotely for some activities that are further afield. You can see there are children and youth projects. There are projects for the homeless and housing. And then you have an opportunity there for somebody who's looking to sign up and get involved. When they sign up, then they have the opportunity to go into the projects that are listed, find the one that they're interested in, and volunteer to serve on it. I won't take much time today to explain how a person volunteers for the projects. I think it's more important that you as supervisors understand how to create projects. So I'm just going to scroll on down. You can see there's some for hunger, people with disabilities. And here's where we get, does your organization need volunteers? Each of you as supervisors, does your organization need volunteer help in any way? Either to assist you in your work because you don't have enough personnel, or to man projects that would be meaningful for you to accomplish. So we're going to just click in hard. So all of you want to know more. And there are two videos. One of them is for those who want to volunteer, and one, why communities adopt JustServe. Listen to this brief presentation.
One of the things we have a lot of questions from faith-based organizations is how do we get back to how we involved. JustServe programs basically allow us to give volunteers a direction.
It allows you to go in, find something that fits your personality, your family.
If I could sit down with another council member in another city that is looking at this or had talked about it, I think what I would say to them and what I have said to them is that this is one of those types of programs that will again help your city be successful.
I just love volunteering here. It kind of takes me out of myself and puts me into the community, and it just makes me feel like I'm making a difference.
Okay, so you can see that communities as a whole have come to understand that JustServe can be a great resource for them to get people in their community to be involved. How does it work? A person looking for a volunteer opportunity simply finds a project, becomes a volunteer, and contributes and improve their community. And here's an opportunity again to sign up. So if you were to go in and sign up, you would see that all they ask of you is an email address and a password. All of you have those readily available to you. And then you can go in and sign up. They would send an email to your email, you confirm it, and then you're signed up on JustServe. It's really easy to do. If you want to, you register and make an account right there. So then we're going to scroll on down, and here's where it becomes interesting to me on your behalf. Here is an opportunity on that very first page to submit a project. The first thing that happens is you come to a page that gives the parameters for JustServe projects. Generally, they're just for the benefit of the community. There are some prohibitions, no political action, no fundraising, and a few others like that. But mostly it's just if you're willing to get involved. And so obviously you read those things, you come down here and you said, I have read those things, even though we haven't right now. And that opens the door for a project. you have a project, and each of you take just a moment and think, is there a project that might help you in your work? I'm looking over at the firefighters and say, they just get the community people to come and wash the trucks. You create a name for the project. I'm just going to create something for the time being. And so then that opens up a window. You who create the project undoubtedly will be the person who will supervise the project. So that information's there, and that's Kenna's. And so we'll move right on forward. The next project, next thing, the organization information. She works for the city of Orem. All of you work for the city of Orem. The city of Orem has an organizational page. And if you just put that in there, it will populate the page and you won't have to take the time to fill it out. The next one tells a little bit about what the project is, a very brief description here of what's going on and a more full description there. There's an opportunity for you to upload a logo or a picture that would highlight your project and make it pop on the page among the other projects that are there. Then, do you want people to sign up on the Just Serve web page? They have that ability. Or do you have your own volunteer website? Do you want to transfer people to go to that website? You have that option, however it's done. And when the project is sponsored, how do people get in touch? Do they get in touch with me, or is there going to be somebody else in charge of that project? Then you can actually list certain things that you need people to do. Or if there's just general population, no need to fill that out. Here's an opportunity for you to say, I'm looking for somebody who's interested in children, or I'm interested in animals. And then if they search on the webpage for projects that are about animals, your project will leap to the foreground. The next one talks about where and when. When is the project? Is it going to be a single day? Is it going to be an ongoing project? Will it happen on a series of dates, particular dates? Will it be in one location? Will it be in a variety of locations? All of those things are available. Oh, and if it gets a little complicated and I'm talking too fast, when you get to the page, you can come over and look right there and find answers to the questions on how to manage the page. You'll notice up here, we haven't entered anything. And so there are little red circles there, or little red X's. There's a blue check mark that says that page is complete. So when you're trying to get your project done, you can move forward from page to page, and that X will stay there until you go back and fill it in, and before you finish the project. Is the project going to be something in person, something remote? Is it suitable for everybody? Is this a family project? Is this something that would be good for a group project like youth or an adult, or single adult groups that would be interested? Can a volunteer participate from home? Any items needing to be donated, non-monetary? And then, is it wheelchair accessible? Is it indoors or out of doors? The name of the organization, location. Click here, it will ask you to add an address. It will give details about where to park and what things you're supposed to do. What are the dates? What are the volunteer responsibilities? And when all of those things have been entered in, you get to a review page. And so there's nothing to say on the page because we haven't entered anything in. But this is what the public will see when they go to that page. After you're satisfied that the project looks the way you want it to, you simply come down here at the end and post to the website. Now, it turns out that Kenna is the supervisor for the city of Orem. So your project will come forward to Kenna. She will take a look at it. If it meets the criteria, she'll post it on the website and it'll appear immediately. If there's a challenge or she thinks that it can be done better, she'll negotiate back and forth with you, get it the way that it's supposed to be, and then your project is up there posted. If it's an occasional project, you want to give a little lead time, of course. If it's an ongoing project, it can go for a whole year and then be renewed year after year after year if you need it to. Kenna knows all about that, and that's how it's done. The website is visited by many, many people. And generally, the people who are in communities say, we like to use the Just Serve source because the people who volunteer are such high quality people. Sometimes when you get volunteers, they come with another agenda. Maybe they're there doing community service because of some problem that they've had. But the folks that come to Just Serve are generally highly motivated and cooperative and helpful. Now, my wife and I are also available if, and I'll stick around for a few minutes. If you're curious about Just Serve and how to make it work, I'd be happy to help. Kenna, I know, would be the same. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you Just Serve. Some of the projects you've already seen, we've done some work with Hillary. We're going to be talking with the Read Early, Read Often, which is a shared project with the city of Orem and Community Action and also Just Serve. Are there any questions you might have right now before I step aside? I hope I didn't talk too fast. If I did, I apologize, but I do that all the time. Thank you very much.
He's an actor. Thanks, Hardy. Yeah, if anyone needs any help with Just Serve, you can ask me or Laura Baskin. We're happy to help you with that. This is Melanie from the 211 program at United Way.
But my name is Melanie Heiner, and I work as the outreach specialist for United Way's 211 program. We often get confused with 311 or 411, or even sometimes 911. So I'm going to make sure to clear that out a little bit today. But an important part to understand what 211 is understanding what United Way is. So I'm sure Stephanie will go into more detail of it, but United Way has been around since the 60s, finding ways in which they can serve the community and help the community with everyday needs. This has been split up into 3 different sections. One of it is childhood education. The other one is youth and family and emotional health. And the other one is family and financial stability. So it's been split up into 3 different programs. One is Everyday Learners, the other is Everyday Strong, and then 211 falls into everyday support, into that financial stability or everyday stability. So I really love this image. I saw it in one of my classes in my undergrad program, and the thing we want to focus on in 211 is equity. Equality is also important, but equity really means that we meet the need of the individual in every call. So I'm going to go into a couple of examples on how we serve the community when they call 211. There's multiple ways to get in contact with us, but before that, I want to share a quick little video. Maybe the sound is good already. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, if not, I'll put the microphone.
When times get dark.
Probably not. Sorry.
When times get dark. We can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light. How can I help you? Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected. Get help. We're just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year.
Okay. Thank you. So our motto at 211 is to make informed decisions, build connections, and empower you. So inform, connect, empower. Just keep that in mind as we go through this. But there are multiple ways to get in contact with 211. The most common one is dialing 211. How that works is once you dial 211, you'll be asked for your zip code. So that way you're directed exactly to the area, like resources that mean where you live. So for 211 here in Utah County, we cover central and southern Utah. There's also a 211 office up in Salt Lake, and they cover the northern part of Utah. So that is one of the ways to get in contact with us. There's also our website, and I'll show you how to navigate that in a bit. It's 211.utah.org. We also have our app. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we've been talking, as you guys are supervisors. We want to make sure you have resources in just any situation that you have with any workers, anyone in the community. You can provide the resources to them yourself. And then you can also text us. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can always get in contact with 211. Even though we have a list here that says that we provide these resources, we don't necessarily provide the help, we provide the contact for it. So one of the resources we provide a lot here in Utah County is community action. We get a lot of callers for rental assistance, food assistance. We're going to connect over to them. And our information is provided in over 200 different languages. So you can always get connected with someone in your own language. So our website, once you go on 211.utah.org, you'll have 3 different ways in order to find the resources you want. So the first one is by your zip code or county. That way you'll get a really long list. So it's not the most specific way, it's just if you're looking for different resources. You can search by category. That's the most just like direct way to find the resource you're looking for. You just type, or you click on housing assistance, food, transportation. It'll take you right to that. Or you can do a custom search. You can put one of the programs that we have right now is rent relief. You can just type rent relief Utah. It'll give you their website or a phone number to call to help with that. So let's see. Okay. There we go. You can also create an account with 211utah.org. As supervisors, it would be easier to save all of the resources you've given to someone by creating an account on it. It's pretty easy. It's just creating a username and a password, and then it'll always send you updates whenever a resource has been updated on our database. Also, our resources are updated every month. We call every resource on our database and make sure everything is up to date. So we can kind of section that out to have everything up to date. The other way to get the resources is through our app. The app, I think, is one of the most effective ways if you don't call 211. This is the easiest way to have it, especially because we always have our phones handy. So you dial the app, you go to the App Store, it's just 211 Utah. And then you'll have every resource on here. On the top corner, you'll see that it says your county. So you just type in your zip code or the county, and all of the resources will come up. So we can do an example of this. This is just how to type in your county, but we'll search by mental health. And the example here is the VY Comprehensive Clinic. You click on that, and immediately you have all of the information on how to get in contact with them. So you have their address, their phone number, website, their hours of service, and what services they provide. And then if you want a little bit more information, you can click on general counseling services. So that was one of the options, and it tells you the required documents, the eligibility, how much it costs, and then the different languages you can get the service provided to you. This is exactly what we do on the call, but if you some people just don't want to call anyone, so you can just download the app and have those resources available. And then if you find this resource, but you're on a text message conversation with someone, you can refer this over to them and send them that information right away. So it's pretty easy. You can also favorite this resource and just have it saved to refer to anyone that you can think of, and you'll have it handy as well. And you can print them, so you just have them accessible to you. If anyone's interested, I know the picture's a little far away, but it's just 211. Are you specifically talking about court-appointed community service? Yeah, so with that, what we have in the office or online, we have a packet that we've created. So the first page is like the instruction page on how to use the packet. The second page is where they get their signatures of every community service project they completed. And then the third and fourth pages are where to get the community service. So when we've gotten a couple calls from the court for people who need court-appointed services, and we can either text them the packet or they can come straight to our office to get that printed out for them. So it's all prepared out there too. And then for normal or just other volunteer opportunities, you can call us and we can direct you to the ones in your community. Good question. And before I move on from that, I want to talk about a couple services that we have right now specific to Utah County. So one of them just started last month. It's called Ride United. So it's a grant we received through LIFT, where anyone in Utah County, if they call in for whichever reason needing a ride, you don't have to give us a reason of like, hey, I need to go to the hospital or anything like that. We don't ask for documents. You can get a free ride scheduled. That can be to go to the grocery store, to go see a family member, any reason at all within Utah County boundaries, you can get a free ride. So I brought a couple flyers in English and Spanish, so you can let anyone know if you ever need a ride yourself.
So the line is 24-hour.
Yes.
So even if it's after hours, so I dispatch here.
Yeah.
After hours, we're limited on resources. So this is something that we could send them to.
Exactly. So when we are in the office, our calls get directed to Kansas City, but they have the same database that we have. So they'll be able to direct you to any resources and even provide rides if needed. So they have access to everything. Yeah, and so at any time you need any resources, you can give us a call. But I would really please refer people over to the Ride United program. We have 10,000 rides available for this year. And if we hit that, we can get more rides for the next year, and they're free. There are no limitations, no requirements. You just provide your name and the address.
Can I get like 500 of them?
Yes, I will print out more.
Okay, Melanie, do you want to tell them, so this is one thing that you're gonna want to know for your clients, that if they get dropped off on a grocery store, the Lyft driver will not stay, they'll get another Lyft driver. Okay.
Yes, you just give us a phone call and say, hey, I'm gonna be at this grocery store for about 30 minutes or so. We'll tell you, give us a call back once you're done at the grocery store and someone will go pick you up. We'll schedule that. Was there another question?
I expect you answered it, because this will be super beneficial for the food banks. We have a lot of people who get there, they don't know how much food they're gonna receive, and then they put that in.
No, and one success story we've had from just this month so far, we met this family who recently arrived to the country, and they had no form of transportation. They lived in Provo, but their kids were in school in Orem. So many times there, I remember she said that her son had to stay in school until 6 p.m., even though he was out of school at 2 p.m. because his dad couldn't pick him up until that time. And so we've been able to schedule them rides for her husband to go to work, for her to drop off her kids at school and go back home. And she's just been, she says it was a huge miracle in her life because she had no idea how they were going to get their kids to school.
Is there any kind of like criteria that they have to meet in order to qualify for this?
None at all. So in Salt Lake, they also have the Ride United program, but that is specifically for medical purposes. Specifically, for a while, it was for like COVID vaccines. for COVID testing. But for the one in Utah County, it is for anyone who needs it. If you ever need it just because your car breaks down for work, you can give us a call. If you know someone in school who, because of the snow, can't ride their bike to school that day, they can give us a call. They just have to be 18 years or older, or an adult has to be with them. And then sometimes with any kind of, if you have a wheelchair and you have wheelchair access, the Lyft driver isn't bound to meet that requirement, but if we write a note, most likely they'll be able to help you out. So this is a program that's available. I'll leave these.
Oh, I'm just wondering, what's the lives?
Yeah, so it is just a Lyft driver. Yeah, so it's through Lyft, but they give us a grant in order to pay their Lyft drivers. Sorry, so it'll be just like getting an Uber or a Lyft.
There is a mile.
Yes, it's within Utah County. So anything outside of that, we can't provide that. But that's why we're here in Orem. So if you have anyone that can benefit from that, like I said, I'll probably leave all of these down there at this table. But another program that we have right now, because of Christmas time, I don't know if Stephanie will go into this a little bit more, but it's Stuff for Santa. We have applications open. I think applications close December 9th, and the last date to have your open house, which is where you go and turn in your documents to receive the assistance, is December 11th. But if you know of anyone who wants to become an applicant, I'll even show you the website just quickly. I probably can't get out of here. So you just go to suffersanta.org and you can apply to be an applicant or a sponsor. Any help we can get, we'd be happy to receive that. So there's a lot of opportunities available. And then these little sheets that I brought to you, it's just our 211 information card on the front side. So it's English and Spanish, but we have all of the services we can provide, just more information on 211 and how to get in contact with us. And then just general information on what we do, what I presented on. But if you want to take any of these, please feel free to do so and to share them out with the community. This slide is our goal is self-reliance. When someone calls in, we want to make sure that they know that there are resources in the community and that they can contact those resources, that they can get the assistance they need, and then they can continue with what they need in self-reliance. Okay, here is some information that may be helpful to you. Becky Christensen is our program director. She's happy to answer any questions that you may have. And then this is my email and my work phone number. You can always get in contact with me. Something that if you're interested in, we do have a monthly newsletter that goes out with the different programs that are available in the community. If you are interested in being added to receiving that newsletter, you can email me directly and I will add your email to it. It doesn't hurt to know a little bit more about the resources, but any questions before I'm done?
Can I get those cards?
Yes. Spanish. Okay. I'm glad, that's what they're here for. But other than that, thank you so much. And if you need anything, call to us.
Thank you.
I know you guys are looking at the food and you're like, really, there's one more person? Yeah, it's me. So I just am so excited to be here. I don't need a microphone, obviously, but some of my heroes are in this room. It's really amazing place to work. In fact, Nathan Robinson, I think that I should thank his family. I don't think that I would have the job I had if it wasn't for his dad and his mom. I was a single mom, got divorced, went to a 4th of July party at his house and said, I didn't get accepted into BYU until January. And Nathan's dad said, oh, I'll help you get in. And so he helped me write a letter of why I was applying so late and got into BYU and started my career there and my schooling and was able to graduate. And so have such fond feelings for the Robinsons. And I also have such fond feelings for Orem City Library because we run a parenting classes called Ready to Learn. People come and they get to hear about children's
child development issues, that biting is normal at 2. It is, not at 20, but at 2 it is. And that there's more aggression in the first 3 years of a child's life than normal, although those that work in the court system, those are different. And so when a parent hears, oh, it's my child that's very aggressive, that's normal, doesn't that make you feel better? We called every library in the county to say, can we offer this class? They all said, no, not unless you want to pay us for a room, except this gentleman over here that didn't know that I was the one asking, so it was not related kind of thing. And they said, yeah, and bring your pizza. And so we were able to start that in Orem Library, and it's one of our most popular classes for people to come. Now we're having a book drive. I think this is our 3rd year, right? Arden that started. He even came up with a read early, read often name. Isn't that cool? It's because of him. And so we're doing a book drive this year again. And I'm not going to tell you why, because you know why we do book drives. Okay, I am going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but just bring your new or gently used books, no religious books, none. Please do not bring your religious books. We cannot place them in homes. We actually got some sex education books last year. I don't know if you don't, we are not going to give those out either. So anyway, but gently used books. And what we do is we distribute them to community members. They go to Title I schools. They actually, some of them will go up to the Utah State Prison because we do a partnership with them where we do books, and some of them will go to Kenna. And so I'm not going to tell you here's the mouse. I'm going to make you feel it. Why should we give books? So what I want you to do is, this is one of my favorite quotes. It's from a children's author, and she's an advocate for reading out loud to children. And the quote is, the fire of literacy is created by an emotional spark. Think about that. It's something that's emotional. It's not achieved by the book alone, nor the child reading alone, nor the adult who's reading it out loud. It's a relationship. My dad loved Peanuts. He loved Snoopy and Peanuts. We read it every Sunday. I was on his lap. Could not understand the humor in it, but I loved it. It's an emotional spark. His office is filled with Snoopy and Peanuts memorabilia because that passed on not only to me, but his grandkids and his great-grandkids. It's an emotional spark. You were asked to bring your favorite children's book. You may have forgotten. I forget a lot of things. I forgot mine in my car. I'll get it, Ken, and bring it in. But I want you to turn to somebody. You can do a trio, a duo, whatever. And I want you to tell the person what your favorite children's book is. Okay, go. Got it. 3 minutes.
You're still talking. That's why. So if you didn't get a chance, do it at your break time. But did anybody smile a little bit? What was your favorite book? Oh, I love that book. Did you just sit to your room a lot? Probably. You know, that book, it's called Man. That book was actually, some libraries wanted to disown it or take it out because that little boy in the very front, and go look, because it's still there, he's actually hung his little teddy bear by the arm, you know, so they felt like that was too violent. But once again, children do a lot of aggressive acts in the first 3 years of their life. But interestingly enough, there's that emotional spark. Books have an emotional spark, don't they? And it's not the book. Now, I was one of those moms that had a child that we had to read 20 minutes every single day, you know, and the minute the timer went off, that book closed. I mean, I was in the middle of a sentence and the book closed and you went outside to play. That child now says, I don't know if any of you read Robert Jordan, The Wheel of Times, it's now a movie, but he is consumed with reading. It's not the amount of time, it's the consistency. There's no magic number in 20, by the way. It can be 10, it can be 5. But one of the reasons why we do book drives, and one of the reasons why we feel at Everyday Learners, that's part of United Way, is that children that are read to not only do better in school, but more importantly, there's a connection. And there's 3 different types of connections that happen when we read out loud. And the guru of reading out loud, his name is Jim Perlise. He says you stop reading out loud to your children when they leave your home. When they leave your home. Now I had one son, and if you know him, please don't tell him I told this story. When he was about 13, 14, 15, and 16, kept telling me how much he couldn't wait to leave. Couldn't stand me. I was a horrible mother. There was no one worse than me. Anybody ever have an experience? And then it was 21, and I'm like, didn't you want to leave? And we now have an amazing, almost welded, bonded experience because of our life experiences. But at that time, the only thing we could talk about without fighting was books. It was a connection for us. And it can be a connection. So I'm going to talk about how before you even open a book, how we can start connecting. And what I want you to do is go home and do this tonight with your wife, your husband, your child, somebody, and see how it actually helps you connect. So my favorite book, one of my favorite books is There's a Nightmare in My Closet. And it was around Christmas time that this is my favorite book because my parents made me close the door on Christmas Eve. And I didn't get the hall light. I was so afraid. And so this is one of my favorite books. I've read it to my kids, my grandkids. But what we want to do is we know that books connect to a child's own life. When I knew that there was other people afraid of the dark, it was a little bit more safety that I could talk about it, or that I knew I wasn't abnormal. So when what I want you to do is turn to that person that you were talking to and tell an experience when you were afraid. Talk about a time when you were afraid. Maybe it was the fire evacuation. I live in Elkridge too. There's our connection. So turn to somebody and talk about a time when you were afraid. It could have been as a child, or it could be now. Can you think of a time?
I don't even know, like.
Okay, so once again, please continue these conversations. But before we even read this book to a child, we would tell an experience how we were afraid. And then we would ask them, tell me about a time when you were afraid. Do you see that all of a sudden books are starting to help a child connect to their own life? And also to yours. There was a study done, I can't remember, I think it was Emory University, that said when children know our life stories, they're more resilient. Books help build resiliency, and they help build connections within their own life and with you. So, sorry, I can't stand still either. Jason, right? I can't think and stand still either. So then we start making connections with other books. See, I love that book. And that's what we do. I teach these, I teach classes at the Utah State Penitentiary to the women. And it's funny because I'll do this with the women. And one lady who came in and didn't want to be there, even though my class is not required. I could tell she didn't want to be there. And then she saw that book. And all of a sudden she said, I love that book. My grandma read me that book. I love my grandma. That's what we do. When we can start connecting to other books, we can do that. We start a connection before the book is even open. Isn't that amazing what books can do? And that's why we do book drives. And that's why we go into agencies and we talk about how to read to children, because it's not like the Santa Claus where you just read to get through it. Okay, I've done it. But what we want to do is we want children in our city to feel connected to themselves and to others and to other books. Because when they start connecting to other books, we know once again how normal this is. That son that I told you about, he likes me now, I think, on most days. He called me one day, they lived in San Antonio, Texas, and he said, you'll never guess what I found on my app, on my phone. I said, what's an app? He's like, come on, Mom. Like, really, I don't know what it is. But so he's tried to explain it to me. I have some now. Emily helps me with them. Emily is my right hand person, left hand, and walks for me most days. And he said, Mom, remember the book? There's a monster at the end of the book. There's an app for that. And now I'm reading it to my child. And that's what we do. And Nathan could be doing this presentation much better. So now we start doing universal. We now connect to other things. And when before we open the book, we start saying, you know what? This happens all over. One author said, I just wanted to be able to tell my 7-year-old self that being afraid of the dark, it's okay to be afraid. Just like when I was 12 and afraid of the dark. That being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you're scared and you do the right thing anyway. And now we start a universal. We start looking outside of ourselves. One of the things, one of my favorite, I love this. Emily Stile, she says that books provide a mirror to reflect the reader's own life and a window to not just view imaginary worlds, but real life that's different from their own. Isn't that amazing? And then somebody took that mirror window and said, her name is Dean Sims Bishops, but she said, no, books are like a sliding glass door that the reader can walk through the story and become a part of a world. And we have found that with our divide, that we can come together through books and through reading and talking about things. Books with diversity helps the readers view others' cultures and reflects on their own. Let's make more sliding glass doors in our community. Orem, I think, is one of the leaders in our county. Could you teach a couple other cities? Because this is what we want, is we want sliding doors that when we are working with that person that's yelling at us because their electricity got turned off and it's your fault because they didn't pay their bill, you can start trying to go walk through their thing. And maybe you could tell them about the book, a couple children's books, but we know that books can make a difference so much more than just the literacy aspect. They do connect us. And I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in other people's lives. And but this is the one thing that I want you to think about. Finding yourself reflected in a book is powerful. When a child reads a book where they see characters like themselves, their families, and their culture being valued in a world, they feel a sense of belonging. Through access to windows, that's our window, children learn to understand and appreciate others. And that's why we do the book fairs. We are trying to connect children to other things. United Way has a very strong passion about parent education. There was a community assessment that was just done. It's a national one. And we found, unfortunately, that in Utah County, that our parents don't feel successful. They don't feel like they're doing a good job. They don't feel like they're doing well as a parent. And I look at these parents and go, wow, why wasn't I like you? We need to empower our people to understand that they are good parents. And that's why we're doing a lot of early education, is so that it's parent education so they can see their value and what they're doing. I want to thank Hillary. I've known Hillary. We work in the same building. I just want to tell you a story about her. Somebody came for court-ordered service, and they were putting stickers on books, our read early, read often stickers on books. And she walked through the community action and she said, I don't have any diapers for my 2-year-old. How do I get it? And I said to her, well, we can go into community action and we can fill out some forms. No, not quite sure why she didn't want to fill out that form. I have an idea. But I think that maybe her ethnicity felt like, oh, I'm not going to get the services I need. And I said, no, we're going to help you. I went and found this young lady and I said, Hillary, this mom needs some diapers. She didn't ask any question. She went and got her some diapers and she said, come back next week and let's get you signed up. Can we just applaud for that? Melina, 211 sounds like a great job, right? People scream at them. But I want to tell you about that 211 rides, that United Rides. The more rides we do this year, the more likely that we're going to get more rides next year. So when you guys are fighting over rides, wherever you went, don't fight, just inundate 211 with those rides. I was the very first person. My husband is in that position where it's really hard for him. He's got Parkinson's and he shouldn't be driving. But how do you get someplace in Elk Ridge? There's no bus stop. There's nothing there. And this is a lifesaver for my family. It's not just for a specific demographic. Please use that service, because if we use it and we can show that we need it in Utah County, guess what? Then it will continue. And then Arden and Lorraine is not here, but I don't know better people than the Hopkins. They care about the community that they live in. And I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity not to just serve with him, but know he and his lovely wife. And then Kenna Jo, you guys, how did you get her? She needs a raise, whoever, does that. But I just want to tell one little story about Kenna and be so grateful. I'm so grateful that she invited me today. My dad passed away in June, and I didn't think I would be sad because he was sort of ornery by the time he died, but I really missed him. But I remember walking in the hospital when I was told that he was going to die. I'm like, he's not going to die. He's just complaining. And who was sitting at the front desk? Do you know she volunteers on weekends at the hospital? Yeah, what's wrong with you? I was in one of the most emotional states, and to see her face that day made me feel like I have friends in this big hospital that didn't have me as a person that could go see my dad. She was there. And when we talk about kindness, that day will always be special for me because Kenna was there. And Kenna does a lot. She should take the weekends off, but she doesn't. So why does kindness matter? Because we all need it. And I love your post. It helps me be a better person. But thank you for coming. Thank you for trying in our community to make a difference. Because not only do you try, but you do. And I can't wait to come back and start teaching classes here again. That's just a little plug. And then the last person I want to thank is Emily. Emily is my assistant. She's going to school full time, getting her master's right now. She ran our summer learning program at our community, and I told my boss, we can't let this person go. Orange City, if you're looking for a great person, there's one right there. She'll be graduating, but I hope that I can keep her for a long time, but she is the one that really makes our Everyday Learners program strong. So if you want to know how to get more information, the book drive is going on right now. And it doesn't need to be new books, but it does need to be gently used, okay? And we'll put those in different places and organizations that need books. But if you would like me to come and do a presentation about why reading is so important, that's one of the things we love to do. But please go home and do this tonight. Take your book that was your favorite book, connect it to yourself, ask some questions to your kids or your spouse, or maybe do it with your mom, call her up on Google Meets, and let's make some more connections in our community. Thank you.
That definitely motivates and inspires me to read more. I believe it was Abraham Lincoln that said good books build character. But the other thing about kindness, the beautiful thing about kindness is that we never need a reason to be kind. And it all begins by turning to the person sitting next to you and starting there, and then branching out from that point. So again, I wanted to special thank you to Kenna, to the presenters for being here, for taking the time to prepare this. And thank you for all of you for being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule. So we appreciate you. We appreciate seeing your faces and enjoying your spirits and being here. So we've also make sure that you grab your books. Those of you who are online, make sure you swing by HR and we can get a copy for you as well. And all of you are welcome to go over and have some brunch on us. So again, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you in a month. So thank you.
Oh.